Hey, welcome everybody to the Broken Campfire Podcast, a Resident Evil based podcast where every week we touch on a new aspect of the Resident Evil video game, film, comic book franchise. I'm joined by mostly the comics. I'm your host Andy. I'm joined by Resident Evil superfans Flask, Greg, and Vito. First off, how's everybody doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited for another week.
I'm real good
of talking about Resident Evil.
I'm feeling like a Jill sandwich today.
Bro, hey, nice.
Good one. That's a good one.
Hey, nice. Well,
is that a reference?
Well, sorry guys. I hate to rush us along, but I got a busy to-do list. It's going to start with all right. Well, this episode we're going to be talking about Resident Evil 9 Requiem, a new Resident Evil game. Just came out last Friday, and all four of us have completed it at least once. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Oh, 9.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Requiem.
Shoot. Yeah, I did that.
Well, I'm not the Resident Evil super fan. So I don't want to be the guy who starts this conversation. I'm looking at either Flask or Greg to start us off.
Oh, I got thoughts. I got my thoughts, but Greg, do you want to start
Trust me, only Vito knows the full depth of my thoughts because I actually wrote a lengthy review.
I know every thought that Andy
I have thoughts.
In fact, this podcast will be boring for me because let
me preface this by saying I'm the most prepared for this discussion that I maybe have ever been for one of these because I actually wrote a full-length review to this game.
Yeah,
should have
I'll
done
share.
that.
I'll share it with the pod at least when we're done. But I didn't want
because you're so prepared. I'm almost intentionally unprepared because I feel like I have like the least.
See, I only prepared
take.
by just playing Resident Evil before we got up. We showed up here to the office.
Damn, that's
right, of course.
That's pretty.
Well. All being said, I think Flask, the rest of us have been kind of chatting throughout the week. You're more of a go into your hole and hide kind of guy. So maybe you start us off.
I guess that's true.
You're a real black horse. Is that what you said?
I think that's. I think Black Court Sphinx
Black
is the term.
Sphinx of Black Horse.
So this is an interesting one. This Resident Evil
really
game
is.
I don't know.
It's got
sort
it
of
all.
Don't know what to make of this. It has it all, and in that sense, it also has.
I told Vito that I thought that you and I were going to end up in the same place on this game, and I think where you're going is where I'm at.
That's possible. Yeah, I mean, so I actually enjoyed playing it for most of its length. But the most apt word that I can use to describe it is it feels misjudged in multiple areas. But it's difficult to determine exactly what's being misjudged here because it's doing so much shit that it's like, yeah, it's hard because
the
I
term
enjoyed
I used was
actually.
messy.
You mean compared?
That's another word.
It's all over the place. It's all
your
over
perception
the place.
of the reception of this game. You think it's misjudged?
No. I think he's talking about this game is itself misjudged. Like, well, I mean, I'll say it, not to put words in your mouth, Flask. I think that in my review, I say words like the developers for this game feel kind of insecure. Like this game never ever understands what it is or knows what it wants to be, and you can like almost imagine like a sigh of relief in the designer room as the 9 out of 10's flooding in, and they're like, "Oh fuck, I can't believe that worked." You know what I mean?
Dodged a Requiem bullet there. Yeah, I think combining our two phrases might actually be the better, more descriptive term, which is messily judged, because they kept trying different shit the entire time, and then apparently it worked out for them because everyone loved this game. I enjoyed playing it for the most part, so I guess it worked out for me too. But the game definitely feels confused about what it wants to be. Is it a survival horror like RE2 remake, or RE3 remake, I guess? Is it a survival horror like RE7? Is it action horror like 5 or 6?
I was going to say,
it
halfway
tries to
through
be
the
all
game,
of those
all of a sudden,
things.
halfway through the game, you're all of a sudden thrown into Resident Evil 5. It's insane. Like, just how a flip of the switch it happens, and I did not appreciate that. I mean, I've shared my thoughts on Resident Evil 5. I think it's a good game, but like the tonal mismatch to what the game was before just like totally broke my immersion. And yeah,
I think that's a good way to put it. Is that it's not so much that it wasn't entertaining. I still enjoyed playing those segments, but it was definitely immersion breaking. And it just like was never a cohesive experience.
Yeah, dude.
In my opinion.
I thought the shifts, like how it would shift between Leon and Grace, only went well one time, and that was in the beginning when Leon first. You get Grace, and then you get Leon, who's just first visiting the care place, and then each other time it's very, all over the place with skipping.
Yeah, and also what doesn't help is that the lengths of each switch are like so wildly different, like different play times.
Like, I'm doing this one 5-minute section as Leon, and now I'm doing Grace for 2 hours. Oh, now I'm on a 6-hour Leon.
Yeah, you're just in Raccoon City for like forever.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the hell?
And I want to drive home a point that like all so much of this is just classic Resident Evil shenanigans that for me like felt ultimately so much worse by the end of it. If only because I think the first 2 or 3 hours of this game felt like the most unique and some of the most unique and high quality Resident Evil gameplay. Maybe of the whole series, like specifically the care center, for me at least, was like a top-notch setting, and I loved that whole thing, and would have loved playing a game that was so much more of that. You know what I mean?
And that's the part that's like their take on the RE7 style gameplay, but it's different. It's not the same exactly.
No.
Now that raises the point. What perspectives did you guys use for the characters? First
Default.
or third person for which?
I did third person for both.
I did recommend it.
Okay.
So first for Grace, third for Leon.
Same, yeah. So Greg, you're the only one who did third person for both the first time. I almost did that. Because traditionally I like third person RE games a little bit more, or they feel more like it feels more at home for me,
Mm-hmm.
But that raises the point of like,
I totally.
Yeah. Does that section in the care center feel so much like their adaptation of Resident Evil 7 to me because I was playing in first person, or would it have felt differently if I was playing in third person? I think it still would have felt.
It felt.
I mean, there's
Resident Evil 2. It felt like Resident Evil 2 in the care center.
Your first person underpowered person lurking around like big monsters, but
I do like so. They do a thing to, increase the stress of third person. I don't know if they do it in first person, where when there is a creature or you're running from something, Grace will stumble or she'll trip over herself to, as she's running away and like.
I do not do that.
Yeah, it's pretty dang annoying when you're.
I bet.
I did start on the second.
Kudos for them giving you the option and then implementing, even though it feels kind of stupid, the stumbling. Good for them for implementing some kind of mechanic to like try to retain that feeling that you're supposed to have as Grace. You know what I mean? Despite playing in the Leon perspective. Shoot, I mean, we could go on forever, but maybe you guys want to talk.
Well, to your point as well, I wanted to say.
Go ahead. Sorry, yeah, please.
It also feels like the first few hours are the most considered story-wise.
100%.
Like the pacing of the plot and the actual writing is the best in the early parts of the game.
I was so drawn in the first hour of the game. I really liked Grace as a character. I loved the plot conceit of I'm just an FBI agent investigating a serial killing, and I know I'm going to get pulled into fucking bioweapon nonsense, but you know what I mean? Like and
I should not be in the field.
I'm not a super soldier badass going into a place that I know is full of monsters. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah. Yeah. And it ends up being for the simplest, dumbest reason that is incredibly misguided in the end anyway.
I was like,
Yeah, very
okay,
strange.
well, surely she has a secret form of the T-virus. Surely she has like special blood or something. But
All right.
No.
she's just the girl who looks at the video and then magically intuits what the video means. That's why she's right. Like, come on, dude.
And
Like,
Alyssa Ashcroft is also incidental, which was disappointing to us, or to me, and I'm sure any other Outbreak fans are just kind of being there.
Knoxville was watching me stream.
She's there for like.
And I told him about Alyssa, and he was so pissed off. Like, oh great, they fucking
She's there for
introduced
like in the
Outbreak
beginning, and then she gets immediately killed off, and you're like, all right.
Now, not to diverge too much. There have been some leaks. One of the DLCs that's being worked on reportedly has a playable Alyssa Ashcroft. Though it seems like it may be like a mercenaries.
I saw
DLC.
that was just a mercenaries, possibly.
But still, it'd be cool.
Because
I
don't even know what they would do with her, even if it was a real campaign. Journalism.
No, I hear you.
You get to interview Spencer and ask him questions.
There were some of the dumbest things in this plot, but some of the dumb things worked on me. To be fair, I did get hype when I saw fucking Wesker again.
Dude,
oh wow, I had the exact opposite reaction.
Dude, well, I mean, I was so surprised. I was like, "What? How? Who the fuck?"
I mean, I won't disagree. It's really dumb, Flask. I just really like Wesker. I think he's a cool villain.
I get you.
Yeah, me too.
That being said, what they do with him is so stupid. Wesker. Well, it was and wasn't. I think we never are told who.
It is one of the Wesker siblings.
Okay, no, I think it's a clone.
Like the clone.
Is it really a
I think he's supposed to be an actual clone of Wesker.
I think it's an actual.
He says you're just an imitation.
Yeah, there's a bunch of. I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong. I think I thought he was an actual.
What I assumed was that. Well, I guess that's because I have that knowledge from Revelations. I just assumed he was one of the weird Wesker clones.
I thought it was implied that he's a clone. Victor Gideon says you're just an imitation.
Yeah, you're just a pale imitation, and then he fucking explodes his head.
But no, I mean let's just go through it. So, like I said, I really loved Grace as a character, at least how it started, and that whole introduction. And I really started getting turned off from the story midway through when it started becoming about Leon on a quest to tie up loose ends to set up the world for Resident Evil 10. I have to assume, like it involved, like I was like, this is so stupid at so many points. Like when they recontextualized the nuke as being
very
about
dumb.
destroying an even more secret weapon of Spencer's. When they shoved in Hunk for a climactic boss fight that just felt like a weird remember that for the Krauser knife fight. Throwing in Mr. X for no reason other than to give Leon something to fight.
Yep.
Grace being a secret daughter of Spencer's. And the weapon is actually a secret cure, but maybe only a cure that Spencer's thought or wanted Wesker to find specifically to screw Wesker over. And Grace, in all of her vast FBI analyst knowledge, who's unable to figure out how to solve a Braille puzzle, is able to discern this for the tea leaves of like a 30-second clip of Spencer talking about his regrets. Which, maybe I'm stupid. When he was talking about his regrets, I thought it was about how much he regretted creating Elpis, and Grace's role was to destroy it, and that's why she's the hope. And so I got the bad ending at first, and I have to wonder. I knew it was the bad ending. I mean, I didn't know, but I had a strong inkling it was the bad ending when the choice said destruction, and I have to wonder how many people were saved from the bad ending, not because they really understood what the plot of the game at that point was going for, but because like the two choices were red and green. You know what I mean? And like, no, really, like it's destruction and hope. Like, of course, hope is going to be the good ending, but I had to like then watch the ending to try to understand and reverse engineer why that was a good ending. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
at least for me. I mean, maybe some people understood it, but yeah.
For a very related reason, which is that I feel insulted that the game is retroactively trying to say that, first of all, while Spencer and Umbrella were greedy and evil, they were really more misguided and incompetent.
Spencer was a
while the
piece of
real
shit.
evil organizations were secretly trying to take what they made and they would use it for the real evil. And Spencer is the evilest guy in this setting. Like, throughout the entire franchise.
Spencer literally wants to be God.
Dude, he wants to be God.
These flashback videos are from like 1989 or something. We saw Spencer in Resident Evil 5. Like, he was still evil as fuck.
So this is the Alyssa Ashcroft interview is, I think, in the early 2000s, like 2004, and he dies in 2006. Like the files say.
Oh, okay. So
what happens in that year where Wesker meets him in his mansion, and he's I was to be a god, and then Wesker murders him violently.
And this game is trying to fucking tell me that he was genuinely remorseful at the end of his life, and we're supposed to buy that and choose the ending based on the fact that Spencer was genuinely remorseful and had a change of heart and had a cure backup plan thing. It's that it hinges on that is so crazy to me.
And let's talk about Victor for a second, who I really thought was a great villain all the way up until the end, until the final boss fight.
Up until you see him
where he shows up. No, even that I didn't hate. I mean, I thought that was stupid, but like whatever. It was honestly kind of cool seeing Victor shooting at me from a motorcycle. It was the final boss fight, then the final cutscene with him, where he walks in and acts all smug to Wesker, like, yeah, I knew about this all along, you stupid bastard. And he kills Wesker, and then I fight him as the final boss. Like, what? Wait, hang on. I thought Victor was just revealing we're on the same side here. What the fuck is this? And
also, he clearly doesn't know shit. Like, he's just
me and Vito were talking about that. Like, while Vito was watching me fight, like, he clearly was like, aha, yeah, I know what's going on. I'm going to kill everybody so that nobody knows how stupid I am.
This moron has been working on the crumbs of Spencer for like 30 years, not knowing what the end point of that entire plan was. And when he finally finds out that it was like just nothing, that it was a cure to the virus, he's like, aha, Spencer was a genius.
My master was a genius. Yes.
You're a fucking nemesis. This was not your plan. That's a good point. Yeah. The arc is that she's a mom. Yep. Just like Alyssa was for her. Oh.
No?
I mean,
okay. We can come back. I just don't want to cut anybody off if you had something that. On the subject of Grace being a mom, my favorite sequence in this entire game was when Emily died. And I thought that was so powerful, and like I felt it, and I thought it was so bold for Resident Evil to go there. And I thought it was so intentioned too, because like you have so many of these sequences with Ashley, Sherry, whoever, that you like are protecting a vulnerable person, and then you save them. And Grace didn't. She wasn't her yet. You know what I mean? She wasn't ready to be that person. Yeah, and I mean, not to blame her. She really had no chance. Like, right? Emily was doomed from the start. But like, I thought that was so powerful, and I thought that would have been a great catalyst for Grace as a character to be motivated to action like she never had been before. So at the very end, I didn't hit her vitals. Fuck you. I really did.
That was insane. That was insane.
So hard.
And then there's no fucking moment in the story between that and the end where we see Grace alive, or Emily alive, that like we're led to like enjoy that narrative payoff, unless you're a fucking stupid Redditor who's enamored by the jingled keys of like, oh man, look at that picture.
Family photo.
Yeah, that final scene of like the photo of Grace and Emily next to Grace and the mom. You can almost imagine that somebody had the thought of that scene and like just super lazily worked back from there.
See, the thing I didn't get is they show her like after she's dead, like, and she starts going crazy and mutating. Her body like mutates into that creature.
Yeah, dude.
But then they leave
in the final
and we've seen in the final
cutscene, she's like a pod
cocooned
inside of it or something. She's just
exactly. But she's like, so I'm like, all right,
no, she is the monster,
and
she's not like driving a monster vehicle.
That's what I'm saying. But so we've also seen from the girl where when we killed her, she just melted into a pile of goo. Why didn't Emily melt into a pile of goo?
Because you didn't hit her.
Yeah,
vitals.
where's Marie piloting the girl form?
Yeah.
Right. And honestly, there was a world where we saw that, right? Where like the girl dissolved into a pile of goo, and we maybe saw like a corpse of a little girl there, and like that could have at least helped build up to like, well, we didn't see it dissolve, so maybe it really wasn't dead, and so maybe the girl inside's okay. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I mean, I still wouldn't have liked it.
Also,
it was just so
super
insulting.
antiviral cures cataracts, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Or
honestly,
I guess transforming into the monster shell cured her cataracts.
Cured every issue with her.
Wow.
You got a fresh body. Pretty cool.
So that really sucked because like at the midpoint of the game, I was like, damn, this game is going places. I'm really excited to keep playing as Grace for most of the time, and I switched to Leon, and like I did.
See, I like Leon the whole a lot.
I did not. I mean, I didn't hate it. I guess it was a fine action game that was very unwelcome right after I was getting bought into what I felt was like a really unique Resident Evil experience.
It was definitely very much a shift home, and it felt a lot like I was just playing Leon from the animated movies.
I think my problem with that whole,
didn't it?
Well, I mean, there's literally like the dog. Like Noxa was telling me, like shooting the dogs is like
that part in the dog. That's literally in the movies.
I don't know, man. It's like I look at that section and I say like that is just like a worse version. I mean that's a worse game than Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 2, or Resident Evil 5 were. Like the 2 or 3 hours where you're playing as Leon. Like it's just like kind of like very boring gray or very boring brown environments, all samey everywhere. Yeah. I was so annoyed when I got to the supply box and saw the upgrade menu for the first time and like the buying menu, and it's just this like soulless, blindingly white, shitty menu without any stylistic flair to upgrading.
Yeah, here's your bracelet on the floor and use the points to buy your items.
They just kind of like lazily steal a mechanic from Metal Gear Solid 4 where you like just get money from kills and never even dare to like bother to try to contextualize that within the narrative as something that would make sense. You know what I mean? It was always silly, right? But at least in Resident Evil 4, you were collecting, in Resident Evil 8, you were collecting gems and money off the ground and giving it to a guy who gave you something. And like that just, there was some stylistic flair to that. Like it felt like, I don't know, it felt like the game restarted midway through, and I felt at that moment, I was certain that I was playing the result of some 2 or 3 games in the last few years that have been matched together in the last year of production to try to get something across the finish line. At least that was the strong impression I started getting.
Duke was a great character in Village.
I imagine like a debate between like a camp of like designers who's like, no, we really should just go all the way and make another Resident Evil 4, and like another camp who's like, no, we started doing some magic here. We need to keep with this Resident Evil 7, and like the project manager decided that the best way to do it was a very Salmonian style of fucking cutting the baby in half and just saying like, okay, you guys get your half, and we'll try to make it work. You know what I mean?
You know,
I mean, like Greg,
obviously it's a fantasy. That's just how it felt. But yeah,
I really didn't like the orphanage. And it's got that part that every Resident Evil has, the shitty midsection where you play as a different character and it's a walking simulator and it's like you're on a ride.
I know we're kind of hating on the game for a moment. I honestly think that segment is never good in any Resident Evil game. I think that the Resident Evil 9 one was like one of the worst it's been. It's so boring.
I like the creepy red-eyed hive mind girls, but it's just the Sherry section
again.
That
was
good.
That,
RE2 remake.
Like it's boring, lame.
And it's gonna suck to do on replays.
Exactly, it offers no replayability. It's like you get to that part and just be like, "Oh fuck, I gotta do this shit."
You just run to here, you wait, and it's just a bunch of waits. Just going to a spot and waiting.
I did see people say that there are, in case you guys are curious about replays, there are pretty fast ways to do that sequence that involve, like, as soon as this happens, you need to be standing here, and then you can kind of, like, dodge around the girls, but, like, it just, not that invalidates anything that you guys are saying. That part of
that actually, never good. I want to use that to bring me into another point about the story, which is that, so, like, we talked about how like Gideon's plan just fucking unravels throughout the course of the game. The first half of the game, he seems like he's onto one thing, and then the second half of the game seems like he's onto a whole different thing. He's a cool villain in the first half, and kind of just like disappears in his lane.
As soon as Xeno introduced, he's gone.
Yeah, he's just not
his narrative way
anymore.
Is destroyed. Yeah.
We also just keep fucking bringing it back around to Spencer. It's always coming back to Spencer. I think with this one, we're finally done with fucking Spencer, Oswald Spencer, Oswell. But
Oswald Spencer.
The fact that we're bringing it around again is just trying. But Miranda was his secret mentor, and did you guys see the painting of her in his office? By the way, that was fun.
Oh no,
no, I didn't see that.
There's a painting with M on it, so it's Miranda.
There's a lot of cool Easter eggs in the game.
Oh yeah,
I'll give it that.
I mean, cool Easter eggs. I liked it when they felt like Easter eggs. I really hated it when it felt like cynical max appeal nostalgia baiting from a AAA game.
Oh yeah,
get me to say remember that, which was a lot of the second half of the game. I mean, that's pretty much what the second half of the game was, right? I mean, almost entirely.
Definitely. I can't believe that this is like almost unrelated, but it is technically an Easter egg, although it's right in your face. Fucking Tofu showing up in
Mr. Tofu showing up multiple times.
It's not even an Easter egg, dude. It's impossible to at least miss hearing that fucking sound of like the bloop,
yeah,
bloop.
You at least hear it. And it sucks because it's a non-canon joke character appearing just like right there in front of you during a part where Leon is supposed to be like, it's explicitly
like reminiscing,
like a turning, having
just
experiencing a requiem for his experiences.
Wait, hold on,
not being able to save everybody.
Though, I think it is an Easter egg in the sense that, I mean, I found it. I don't think it's hard to get, but I think it when Andy said it, he made it sound like it's like a normal progress thing you do. I think it only happens if you go back to that area after the Nemesis fight, and the game's assuming that you're done with that area already.
But I mean,
I accidentally did it. You accidentally did it, so it's not like it's.
I don't even know if I would say I accidentally did it. I can't remember what I was doing at that point in time, but like I want to say I was just like, I don't know, maybe there was a safe there.
We were looking for a library card.
Okay, fair enough. So I guess I was
the book thing.
Deep exploring that place. Okay, fair point. For me,
but the fact that it's just in your face, I do not like that. It's a non-canon joke character.
I kind of felt the same way about
version
Hunk.
of Resident Evil 1 in the locker, and I'm like, come on, you're just gonna put the game in the game. Anyway, Hunk, yes, exactly, yeah.
Well, I mean, and I know Hunk has apparently had a more direct relevance to like being a real character than I thought, but he's just introduced for like an imitation fight of a better fight in a previous game. I guess just to, I don't know, bring. I don't know why. Nostalgia bait? Because at first I thought it was just to kill him off. But if you, on insanity mode...
If you leave and come back, he disappears.
So he's still alive. Yeah.
It's also clearly not
really
for
like
fans of Hunk, because
I thought it was cool.
Fans of Hunk are losing their minds about him losing to Leon in that fight. Like, in terms of canon, like, power levels.
Power scaling, yeah.
Yeah.
There's always the defense that Leon hasn't been in a game in like what canonically like 15 years, so you know he's stronger now probably.
He only gets stronger. So where I was going with the whole like plot thing. So my eyes were just rolling further and further back as it's doing more. Remember this. Like evoking stuff from the past, retconning like revelations in there to the events you already know about. But then, so I can't understand why we can't just do new stuff. But so Gideon's plan, he's not even really trying to be like doing anything innovative, like I hoped. He's just, as I said, for decades been following the crumbs of Spencer, and the whole blood thing, right? First of all, why would he ever let Grace be in any danger throughout the entire game? Because he needs her. He thinks she's the key to the entire 30-year helpless plan.
That is actually explained stupidly in a brief moment. But you can finish your thought if you don't want me to digress.
Please, actually, I would love to know why.
Let me see if I can find a screenshot. Sorry, listeners. But you recall at the end of the game where Grace is looking at the whiteboard. There's a flowchart that describes like the whole plan.
Oh,
and one of those blocks is stuff like testing to make sure that Grace is the girl. Because I don't know what that means. Does that mean that the girl who's immune to the T virus? Because like it really felt like they were going for something like Grace has like special blood or something. And and maybe is that true? Does Grace have special blood? Because like
seemingly not. Because Spencer even said he's like, nope, just a normal girl.
Now I don't mind the revelation at the end, that the reveal that they're wrong about her. Like I don't mind I don't mind a reveal.
I don't mind that at all. Wrong. I just don't know what the plan was. Like what was the plan where she was the girl? I posted the screenshot, but listeners, that flowchart has how does she react to this? How does she react to that?
Right, it seems like testing her, trying to trigger her, maybe.
Well, it says literally right here in the middle, check Grace Ashcroft is the same person from 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And also the flowcharts don't make any sense, because from there, you both test her and then you immediately liberate her too. Right? Like, it's just a dumb flowchart.
Maybe they're not good at flowcharts. Maybe they're not good at flowcharts. Maybe Gideon's genius lies elsewhere.
I don't want to derail your point. I'll just place a flag. I have another big point to get into with this flowchart, but go on, please.
Okay.
I don't really know what you're talking about right now.
They also have another file that's like, they test Grace's blood, and it's like, match. It's all a match. It's a perfect match. For match fucking what? For what?
Right.
You revealed that there was nothing.
Right.
So there's a final mystery.
Right.
I don't know if any of you guys were going to get to this at some point, but there's a final puzzle that is not yet solved. Okay, there's a final puzzle in the game.
I'm aware of this.
It has?
Wait. Well,
yeah, I'm pretty sure it got solved.
People have got to the end of it.
But maybe there's more bits to it. So, but
okay,
go ahead, Flask. I'll say what you're going to say.
Because I was looking at like the people, the community that was trying to figure it out, and I didn't see a solution, but maybe I just missed it. But it involves like all these different items throughout the game, and all these different things you can do, little clues of like audio and items and visuals, stuff like that. And it seems to be related to the whole like the blood analysis shit. And I was wondering if it's related to what the hell Chloe from the flashback in 1990 in the orphanage, what her and the red-eyed hive mind girls were even about, because they're never explained, because the game establishes that they're not clones of Grace, and neither is she a clone of them.
But no. I don't get it either, but Chloe has to be Grace. Like, literally the same person. I don't understand it one bit, but, like, it's presented as a flashback that Grace, like, a trauma flashback that comes back to her in the moment.
Right.
You know,
but it also can't be, because she's too young, and she it's not... and then they also say at the end that she has no relation to any of the clone shit. She's just, like, a normal girl who's not related to Emily, who is one of the clone girls, like Chloe and the red-eyed girls were. So, and they also say
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, they also say, I think in a file, that Gideon used Grace's DNA that he found, that he gathered, to make Emily and Marie, at least, like this new batch. So I don't know what the fuck is going on with the relation between Grace and the clone girls and Emily and Marie and Chloe at different times that don't make sense in the timeline, because Grace can't possibly be Chloe because of the age thing, and you know, the fact that whatever memory, I don't know. So I was wondering if the final puzzle had to do with that, like setting up like where they could follow up with that, with the blood-based memory transfer plot that the game just sort of gives up on partway through. Like, that's not the plan anymore about halfway through the game. They can't stop talking about how they think that Spencer's big experiment was memory transfer as a form of immortality. But then later on, they just never reference that again. They never talk about that again.
There's so many different concepts that are just immediately introduced, or they're like discarded. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like,
yeah,
it's so messy, so messy.
And you know, the game did go through multiple different iterations and rewritings and stuff like that. So it feels like it could very well be just that, like, that got lost in the shuffle, the plot of the game.
and look, I say this knowing that Resident Evil's not at all about the story, but like, how did this shit get a 9 out of 10? I'm just saying.
I like the Resident Evil storyline and lore. I've always been into it, but I'm one of the dozen. You know, I understand that it's not high art, but it's enjoyable to me. And this one was like all over the place.
Well, and honestly, for me, just to drive a point home, it's in a different world, it wouldn't have been as bad. But like, it almost, in contrast to how strong I felt the presentation in the first 2 or 3 hours of the game was, when it just turned into like not just any other Resident Evil game, but like kind of like almost like a satire of Resident Evil, if you really like a flanderization of Resident Evil with how deep stupid it went in some places for me, you know.
It really felt like RE6 to me. Like the level of RE6's stupidity had reared its head again. So is it all on Leon's shoulders that the Grace storyline and game got like derailed, that they have to do all that shit with him and go into his, it becomes about him, like having
he's actually the main character of the game.
The Raccoon City incident, yeah. It's weird. So what about the final puzzle? Did you find?
Oh yeah. So
that there
I mean, it's like you said. I think largely it was data mined pretty quickly afterwards. Not that people organically found it, but it involves taking finding a special doll of Marie, which has steps like you have to wait at the blood processing plant for 15 minutes before draining it. Then you have to drain it and let all the zombies get grinded by the grinder. You're not allowed to shoot them. Stuff like that. Like, it has like a lot of insane steps to it. The reward
flush a toilet 8 times.
8 times. You gotta flush the toilet 8 times.
I saw that. That's insane.
You gotta hang out in an area for 15 minutes or like have something reset. It's like, what the fuck, dude? I'm not doing any of that.
You eventually you gotta be carrying Emily. You gotta have the Marie doll. You do this whole sequence. You go to a puzzle box and you type in a code: sun, sun, star, sun, moon, star, sun, moon, star, moon. Super long code. You'll hear a child's laughter, and then you get 20,000 challenge points.
Oh, so the sweet pair that must hear the voice is Emily and the doll, and then you get 20,000 challenge points. That's unfortunate. Involving Leon.
I think it's what he was. I saw what it was that. I'm sorry, I just completely lost my train of thought.
What do you think they're going to do with Leon in the DLC?
Yeah, what I think the DLC with Leon is what he was doing during 7 and 8. Or that's what I think the rumor is.
And like honestly, I wouldn't even hate that. Like any one of these games that this game tries to be, had it been a fully realized vision of itself, I think that I could have found myself enjoying. You know what I mean? It's just like the whole mishmash of Resident Evil Soup, and like it felt like discerning the tea leaves from Reign of Resident Evil things. I don't know. I mean, maybe the most generous way to put it is this: they started making a game, and it was the Grace game. And they started thinking about Resident Evil 10 and what they wanted Resident Evil 10 to look like, and elements they need to set up for Resident Evil 10. And, you know, pessimistically, one has to wonder, like you said, Flash, this game kind of felt like Resident Evil 6 at certain points, from what I've heard at least. And, like, I don't know. The game got a fucking 9 out of 10 everywhere. Is Resident Evil 10 going to be a big stinking doo-doo because the developers like are going to learn that, oh, all this was great. This was the highest reviewed Resident Evil in the modern era. It did better than 7 and 8, so it's the best of them. And at times it is, honestly. Like, I think ultimately in my review, I kind of equate it to, like, I would, you know, not to jump the goat, but I'd still give the game like an 8 out of 10 in my own mind. It's around Village for me, in a totally different way. I found this game interesting, and like the Grace parts especially to be real high, but I would still recommend Village to most people if they had to play one of the modern Resident Evil games. But sorry, go ahead, Flask.
Greg, didn't Resident Evil 6, wasn't that the highest selling Resident Evil game?
I think it was pretty high up there.
But it was a critical disaster, right?
Even if it was like a really weird, not Resident Evil game, it was like a crazy action game.
A jump the shark moment for the franchise.
I feel we're go ahead.
I did want to get back to some positives because I think
I thought we were just gonna add the negative first and go crazy about the positives.
How about
sure. I totally do, but if you don't mind, real quick, I did point a flag. I want to unflag real quick, just to. We've been talking a lot about the story and our complaints with it, and this is relatively minor, but you know, I talked a lot about Emily. I think some of the puzzles as well were all the puzzles were fine, right? None of them were like I think terrible. It's just some of them, none of them were out of bounds of Resident Evil. Resident Evil always has kind of stupid puzzles. I hated that Grace did not give a fuck that Emily was trapped into a cell until she had the stupidest reason to need it, to use her to solve a puzzle. That one in particular bothered me, but I just legitimately think the writers didn't think about
that. She was so confused by the situation she was in that she actually suspected the writers of the game had her suspect that Emily might actually be a dangerous mutation person because of all the zombies and stuff, because the writers thought that the players might be like, oh no, girl, don't open that cell, she might be a monster. And so they had in-universe Grace like kind of be wary in that way.
To be fair to that viewpoint, you're right, but to be fair, there is that dying guard who yells in his dying words like, no, don't get close to her.
Don't let her go.
So
they also have a scene where she acts a little creepy. She's like, I forget what she says. They have one scene where Emily says something in kind of a creepy way, and then like close up on her face, her blind face. Yeah. But then they very quickly are like, no, she's just a normal girl.
But the flag. Ensure Grace Ashford is put on the case. They send an FBI analyst into the job. They send her alone. They send her to do a field agent's job in the one location that we know of in the world where she is likely to be too emotionally compromised to do her job well.
Yep.
And in flowchart we see ensure Grace Ashcroft is put on the case. So we have to know that Grace also knows that this is suggesting that like the FBI has been infiltrated. And in fact, like, it seems like her boss, like, for me, it was setting up that her boss is, like, part of the cult. And, like, this is a minor nitpick, but, like, that would have just, like, closed that loophole, or that plot hole for me, you know? But instead, at the end of the game, we see her happily working at the FBI with her boss. And so,
yep.
How was Grace forced onto this case and then to be given to the grand conspiracy? Yeah, I mean, I don't want to belabor the point. We've been going on a while, but
I think
very
I think you
plotting.
could explain away that the connections has the connections to get someone higher up than her, like, local FBI director, to order him to send Grace in because of her connection to the mother's murder at that place. Why? Well, like, what was the logic that made him agree that she would be the best person for this case to send in alone? Yeah. I don't know. I can't tell you. But I think you could argue that he wasn't in on it because he was given orders from someone up higher who is related to the connections. But I would have liked to have, like, her vet that and figure out, like, have some lip service where it's like, we'll figure out how the FBI got infiltrated to send you there, you know? But that
some kind of
15-second
sequence.
The game.
You know what I mean? You know, like, just to, like, say, like, there's more to it. But you do that when, again, you can't do that, right? You cannot allude to something that Grace could, an interesting mystery that Grace could personally be involved in, because the point of Grace's character is that she's not going to be Resident Evil 10 because she has to be a mom now. That's my bad.
Or at best,
you
she'll
really
be like
hate
the woman in the
seeing
chair.
a woman embrace motherhood, Andy.
I hate seeing. Yeah, dude, I hate seeing a strong, independent woman fully realize herself only to become a mother.
Well, what's really funny about you saying this is that it brings to mind something that I wasn't really thinking about before, but is now in stark relief, which is that, so in the CG movies, Rebecca Chambers, who was a member of STARS Beta, STARS, yeah, Beta Squad, whatever. She was a field operative, well trained and everything. She was their medic, but she was really not ever cut out for field work. Like, she eventually found the courage and constitution to, like, survive the situation at the mansion in the Arclay Forest, but, like, afterwards, it was clear that she wasn't going to, like, be a Chris, you know, out shooting zombies and stuff like that. That wasn't her.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's
so
fair.
she becomes a scientist, and she works with the protagonists in that capacity from time to time in the CG movies, never appearing in the games again. But she, you know, that's her role in the world, and that's fine. You have Sherry Birkin, who survived the events of RE2 as a child. Then she's in RE6, and she's, like, kind of a badass alongside Jake Wesker, who never shows up again. And she's, you know, kicking her fair share of ass, and she's, like, doing field work, globe hopping and stuff like that. And now she is Leon's woman in the chair, like Hunnigan or something like that. And it's not that that's, like, implausible or whatever for her character's trajectory, but it's just another example of, like, just sideline the side women characters. I would not be surprised if Grace shows up again as a woman in the chair for somebody, for Leon or for something. I don't know, but
which is criminal, because I really do think Grace is the best character they've introduced in years. At least best.
She's, like, more of a character than they've introduced in years in terms of protagonists, because we've had Ethan.
Yeah. Man, you said something. I had a follow-up thought, but I completely lost it. I'll come back.
Well, I really would love to let Vito and Greg speak more on the subject of Resident Evil Requiem.
You guys,
particularly
like
the plot and
gameplay
stuff.
stuff.
I mean, first the plot, just because we've been on that for a while. But, like, you know, if you guys had any more thoughts, I mean, me and Floss have been kind of dominating the conversation before we move on. But feel free, you know.
See, from this conversation so far, you know, it feels like you guys really didn't like it that much. Like, I mean, you liked it, but there were definitely a lot of parts that
we've talked about, like, there's one or two things about the game, you know what I mean? we gone on a while about it, but I got a lot more to say. Go on, sorry.
I was just saying, I feel like I was on the other side where, yeah, there were some parts that I really wasn't and like definitely a couple sections. I was like, why the fuck was, like, we don't need that. But overall, I really liked it. Like Leon's whole section, I really dug that a lot. I thought it was badass. I really also did like Grace's overall.
I mean, I would, you're not in the minority, right? I think folks like me and Flask are more in the minority on this game right now.
And I said this before, but I think I was buried a little bit. But I actually did enjoy the whole Raccoon City Leon section, gameplay wise, like design of the areas wise. I agree on the aesthetic of brown and gray not being very interesting and ruins not being very interesting, but gameplay wise, design wise, I enjoyed that whole semi-open world, like going to different areas, buildings, looping back around in on itself, unlocking places. That it was all in the service of blowing open a gate was a little silly to me. But
of course, yeah.
The fact that it like existed in that way, I enjoyed that. So I'm down.
I enjoyed that segment. I didn't like it as much as the game before, and I wish the aesthetic was more colorful. But I mean, it still had great enemy variety, and like I said, I would have enjoyed a fully realized version of any one of these games. But sorry, Greg, go ahead.
What? No. That's really all I had. I mean, there were other weird parts I really wasn't a fan of, like, after you escape the care center, and then there's just magically this helicopter with this helicopter pilot there, and he's like, "Hey, go get the key in that house over there."
I forgot.
I don't want to get it.
I did think that was a really cool sequence, though. I actually kind of dug
but then,
that, like you go in there and like Grace thinks she's just going to be in there for in and out, and she just gets thrown into this shit.
Yeah, I like that part. It's just the whole thing with like him that guy even being there, and then we get the key, and like the whole place is going up, and then he immediately we crash, and he violently gets killed.
I kind of dug the sequence, but it was like yeah, exactly. It was the conceit of the helicopter crash in the Resident Evil game,
Yeah, I haven't wanted to get in the way of a good conversation. I think everything you guys are saying is 100% right. Especially about like, the plot stuff. Just my impression playing the game, I had a great time. I really liked it a lot. I often said I enjoyed it more than like 7 and 8. Especially in the beginning. I mean, I think the care center is like just a legendary Resident Evil
I think it's top notch
segment. Yeah. Game definitely falls off a bit after that. I feel like they just always have a problem keeping my attention in the second half of a Resident Evil game. The first location's always the coolest, and then after that, it's like it feels less inspired. You always end up doing, the same kind of sequence of, sewer and then a lab. Although I did like the lab section in this game. That's kind of where I woke up again. The Leon section in the middle had a lot of highs, had a lot of cool shit. Overall, I think it dragged on a bit. And yeah, the environments were just kind of brown and boring. But it starts off cool, man. Just fucking as soon as it starts, get launched in that spider boss fight. Was cool as hell. Just the idea of going, the idea of going back to Raccoon City is a cool concept. I dug going back to RPD. I thought that whole section was really cool, but I also acknowledge, like, that section sucks on replay. You know what I mean? Like, there's not really much gameplay. It's just kind of like a remember this kind of section. But it worked for me on the first playthrough. I thought it was badass.
I thought it was cool to go back to the police station. I mean, there are a lot more egregious examples of cynical nostalgia bait in the game than that. I think.
I think even Nemesis, like, yeah, I see that. Yeah, they're just rehashing this villain. What business does this guy have to be returning? But what did I say? I said Nemesis. Yeah, Mr. X. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't tend to go into Resident Evil expecting a good plot, but you guys are absolutely right. Maybe this is like worse than even the standard.
I think it just felt cynical, like in a lot of ways. Like I don't know in a meta way. The nostalgia baiting. I feel like there's ways to do it that like aren't as offensive to me. Like Leon going back to the police station kind of just feels like it makes sense for his character, and like whatever, they gave me a reason to do it, so I bought that. Mr. X, we saw him die in Resident Evil 2. We're given no real lip service into why he's back again, and then we just kill him again.
Oh, there is actually an explanation for that.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah,
is it a file or something?
No. It's not explained in the game. You just have to know or remember. But when the tyrant, that is Mr. X, is dropped into Raccoon City to go hunting for Sherry, he drops in a pod from an aircraft, and there are multiple other pods on that aircraft with the same like T-100 whatever labeling.
There's multiple X's.
Yeah, it was always kind of assumed that there was a batch. These are expensive bioweapons to manufacture and deploy.
Fair enough.
But it was always assumed in the canon that there was a batch, at least one batch, of Mr. X's out there somewhere. And that was just one dropped in to pursue Sherry at that time. Okay, so you could argue that this is just one of the other ones that's been lying around, on ice. But in terms of the impact of it in this game, definitely just like, remember this? Remember Mr. X chasing you through RPD? He's back. Yeah. He's back, baby. Although it is fun that Leon gets to just fucking personally take him the fuck out. Like, just dismantle the guy.
Oh, of course.
Carry his rockets and shit.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was badass. Honestly, look, once I was on a fucking motorcycle and fighting Gideon and zombie dogs, like, my expectations plot-wise went out the window. I was like, oh, okay, we're back in, like, B-movie territory. Like, this shit's gonna get crazy, and I'm along for it. Whatever happens, happens, as long as you're entertaining me. And you know what? The game did a really good job at, although there was some bits in the middle that dragged out, it did a really good job at just constantly kind of throwing something new at you to wake you up a little bit. Like, just constantly different enemy types, different set pieces. I mean, even in that long Leon section, you have, it starts off, you have regular T-virus zombies, which is just cool to see, even like in their skeletal, they fit in thematically, in the area that you're in, there's thought put into these enemies. Then you have the BSA zombies or whatever there was with the guns that genuinely surprised me. Well, the first guy that shot, I was like, holy shit. I thought that was really cool. And you have that area with the glass that you can shoot out, like icebreaker style.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was a lot of fun. And a lot of these things are like very short lived. The game throws a lot of like really cool ideas at you that really are only like last like 5 minutes. And I kind of wish they spent a little bit more time with some of them. Then you get to the lab and you're fighting actual humans, with guns, which I thought was a highlight. And I would have loved to have seen more of that, because like those guys had like their own AI and were sneaky or taking cover. The game throws a lot of cool different stuff at you. The zombies in the liquors, the zombies in the lab that now have knives and behave a little bit differently. And on the other side of that, and I think Andy said this too, like the zombies in the first part of the game in the care center are some of the coolest zombies that Resident Evil has ever had. And I miss them, and I kind of wish there was more of that, because they were so interesting. Each zombie had like a story, like an implied story, it wasn't just like fodder. Every single zombie, like you have like the maid zombie that's got like the broken glass in her face.
Lights
and she's literally will go and try to clean up like messes, like walk around like cleaning up blood and stuff. You got the guy who doesn't like the lights. You have the singers.
The guy who doesn't like the noise. The singer ladies. You got the chef who's running around chopping up meat.
That guy.
You got all these unique people.
Every zombie, like
they all do They all do different crazy things. Like there are some zombie, like I saw a video where a guy walks in a room and a zombie like shoots its head up and like stares at him but freezes, and then when the guy gets closer, he fucking jumps at him. Like they all got crazy mechanics and stuff.
Yeah, it was spooky. Like these zombies like had like behaviors programmed. It wasn't just like other Resident Evil games where the zombies are just, you know, you can replace any zombie in any room with another zombie. It won't make a difference. But these, like, I mean, just walk through the care center for the first time and, I don't know, like, going room to room and you walk into the room and the zombies are on the table, like, feasting on, you know, bodies and stuff. And then you walk into the bathroom and there's the maid and the singer's upstairs. It felt like just very, like, an intentionally designed area.
Like a house of horrors that Grace is being subjected to.
Yes, exactly. And the game,
I was worried initially
about that kind of zombie.
Well, no. I was worried initially that the whole thing would be like that it wasn't going to turn into more of a typical like RPD style RE7 or 8, like go through this area, loop back through it, confront different zombies in the way you need to survive, collect items, etc., etc. You know, like that it wasn't going to be a legitimate open like fun area, right? That it was going to be very linear.
Like
the first like hour is like you don't have any options. You're just trying to make it through the next room, and then finally you hit a point where you start collecting and accumulating items and getting more of a lay of the land after you've explored and collected stuff. And now you have this, like an established home base and an established like routes you can take. You know the zombies that are around, and then your thing as Grace is never really to be like slaughtering everybody in your path. It's to be maybe at most like shooting one, pushing it over, and just slipping on through. And
yeah.
So it's a different style of gameplay than usual, than even
absolutely.
Like 7.
I was very immersed, and that's how I was playing it. I was stealthing around. I really was only killing zombies if I absolutely needed to. Otherwise, I was trying to run around them or popping them and pushing them. It's not like, yeah, maybe I can kill all of them, but I didn't know how survival horror this game was going to get, so I was just extra conservative with ammo. But I was fully immersed, and it was awesome. And like I gotta say, man, I mean, I thought this was like one of the spookiest Resident Evil games. I mean, period. I mean, there was I was in the Discord. There was a couple times where I went, fuck, like, you know, there was some cool, scary shit. I mean, even the first section where you meet the what do you call her? The girl for the first time. That's a good fucking section. I played it twice because I tried to do insanity mode, and I think I dropped off of that. We can talk about that later. But that's a great section where you're just evading the girl in the care center for the first time.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a bitch to play through, to replay through, but I started a second playthrough. I'm already past the care center, and the girl section was like not a problem at all. It's very like understandable of what you got to do and just get through it, you know.
So yeah, so that was just as a whole my takeaway of the game. I had a great time. I loved it. Definitely recognize everything you guys are saying, and I really can't disagree on anything. And it does feel like this game was just a mishmash of devs with different ideas, and I really would have loved, you know, the Leon sections were my least favorite. I would have loved a game where I just played as Grace the whole time in sections similar to the care center. And honestly, every Grace section was awesome except for like your little flashback. But the basement of the care center is cool. The blood lab, the actual arc, I thought they were all badass. Leon sections were the only ones where I was actually like thrown like out of my immersion when it switched to Leon. First of all, I think a game where you're like switching camera perspectives is just a bad idea, and I was worried about that going in, and then and I think I was right. Like
that's why I don't know how. No, you change. You're. I mean, I like I kind of like the idea of it, but yeah, I mean, you're touching on what's always confused me about the marketing for this game is that marketing for this game has always been like you're going to switch between these two characters, and I've all personally, and it just reveals your taste, right? I've always been like, all right, I mean, what I see from the game looks really cool, but like what you say about the game sounds like you just like the worst parts of Resident Evil. I hate when I switch characters in these games. But anyway, yeah.
And that's different from a scenario system where it's fully one campaign and then fully another campaign.
Fully realized.
This is literally switching between characters each chapter, and it can be jarring, and especially because the gameplay styles are so radically different.
I still think it kind of worked in the first part. Like in the first few hours of the game, it was kind of working for me, and I was like, okay, so this game is like gonna try to play itself like Resident Evil, but you're playing both side A and side B at the same time, Resident Evil 2, and unlike the 2 remake, the two sides are going to be actually showing us what these guys are doing during this adventure, where they're both in this location at the same time. That's kind of what I thought it was going for in the first like hour or two, but again, just doesn't stick with one idea for the whole game.
It's funny when it's going quicker, like at a quicker pace of switching, it works better towards the ideal of the concept. Like, so for instance, as Grace, you just barely scrape by surviving, like getting out of an area with zombies, and then you switch to Leon, and now you're covering her using a sniper rifle, and then having like a showdown in a fiery church with a bunch of enemies in like an arena, and it's a completely different style of gameplay, but it feels like you are now like getting sort of rewarded, but with the satisfaction of like just slaughtering all the enemies. And especially that one part where Grace drops down into the basement, and then you switch to Leon and come into the care center that Grace has been going through this whole time. And now you can take out every single zombie in the place. You can just get rid of them all, and you're rewarded for it point wise.
Couldn't get to,
exactly, yeah. So there's like, you understand kind of what they were going for in those segments. It's really, I think, in the longer segments that you start to be like, oh right, okay, we're like going we're kind of just like, okay, we're seeing her side and now we're seeing his side, and they're all just kind of disconnected and doing like entirely different games here. And yet I still found it fun. Like basically all the gameplay I found enjoyable. What does that say, right?
I consistently enjoy the game, and I don't want to cut into you guys, but like, I'm kind of with you, Vito, on that. Like, I did have fun throughout the whole game. It was good in that sense. And what more can you ask from a game? It's just, I almost wish it was just as good as like the game I thought it was going to be at the start. And I wish it stuck with one big game concept to go with instead of trying to do so much. But things like monster design, the sound, the atmosphere, and at least the lighting in the first half were for me all like really top notch. Like it kind of just felt like Resident Evil 7 felt like a new take on Resident Evil, and for me this is like kind of a new take too, because it's not like brown and like moldy Resident Evil 7. It's more of a psychological thing. It felt like, at least at first, you know what I mean?
I was also just happy to get back to like bioweapon type mutations, monsters made of people that weren't just like mold shapes, more or less, or like superpowered people for some reason.
I wish that the gameplay, as much as I thought it was good, it still kind of broke my immersion sometimes when I would like realize that like there were systems just introduced and discarded. Like, what was up with the whole crafting system? Like, you find first it introduces the system for Grace to get recipes that you use for about 5 minutes in the game, and then never again. Then you craft things by collecting blood, which is everywhere. I don't know. It felt kind of like a crutch for not just making a more intentioned experience with item drops paced in certain ways. You know what I mean? And instead, I can craft blood from bullets. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, the whole blood thing felt odd.
Very
conceptually.
weird, because you're making all the. The only thing I get for making the blood is
hemolytic injectors, right?
That like chemical thing. Yeah, the injector. That I get. But you're able to make bullets. You make Molotov.
Toward the end of the fucking game, you make acid by putting blood into a bottle.
Dude. Ink ribbons you make. It's like I don't get any of that.
I definitely agree. I don't think I really questioned it at all when I was playing, but I thought the enjoyment of it. I wasn't thinking about the logic of the science of how to make the thing. I did enjoy when you're playing as Grace in the care center that there were a lot of moments where, okay, should I get this blood really quick? Like there's a zombie like 10 feet away. Should I go get this? Yeah. Like while this guy's chasing me, can I run around him really quick and get this bucket of blood? Like, you know, it forces you to stop for a little bit and grab an item. I thought that worked.
I didn't hate it. It's just weird in the game how it was executed for me. Like,
yeah, my perspective is actually not that I disliked the mechanic of the blood, like collecting the blood and finding it from different locations and going back to locations that you knew blood was at and stuff like that. Like the blood itself mechanically wasn't any real different for me from like you're saying, like an interesting way to handle a crafting material that you have to, you know, make those calls on. It's just that like the whole, I don't know, it's really hard to describe because I'm not even attacking like the logic of it, which is illogical. I'm like just questioning how this blood thing came about and like what
there's like
why
a theme
it's like
of blood
the way it is
throughout the game,
right?
You know, in the story. So I felt like it fit in like thematically. Well, okay, this game's theme is the blood. You have the blood lab. You know, the virus itself is related to blood. You know, it's all blood. It's all blood.
Sure.
It's blood all the way up. You know, so I wasn't bothered by the blood, and in fact, I probably was like a little, you know, I was okay.
Are there? I don't know if you guys know this, but are there ways you can kill enemies to like ensure that they'll be bloody when they are corpses?
I don't know.
To like get more blood out of them, because that would be something, right? That would be like
I don't know,
part of the mechanics.
I would assume maybe exploding their head would give you like the most.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's deterministic or not like that. I don't know.
There's a lot of stuff in that game too that they just they like mention it once, like a lot of background like lore stuff that's very strange, and like there's a lot of stuff in the game that is seen off camera. Like if you're able to like you're able to move the camera around with like developer tools, you're able to see some stuff. Like there's some BSAA agents that show up at the end of the game, and like people were able to like look under, like, you know, zoom in close past their mask, and you see that there's zombies underneath. There's there's small talk during like cutscenes where like the BSAA like is like having like infighting, and like the North American branch is doing weird shit by itself, and we know like, and how like the Pentagon is like, you know, giving them shit for it, and how like when Sherry tried to look into it, like the people like above her were like, hey, shut this shit down, like don't look into that. There's a lot of very strange,
that's like connected to the whole
thing.
Connections like cabal thing with like the demon. I vaguely got like no understanding of that whatsoever, just vaguely got an impression of like there was supposed to be some sort of underlying secret connections related.
The connections is what, that's what the like group Wesker is, and his
right,
and not Wesker.
But I mean, I think it's implied that it's supposed to be like infiltrated the government, and that the BSAA North American branch, like you said, they're compromised. They're the ones who were compromised, but then like maybe the European branch is not, and that's the one Chris is a part of or was.
Yeah, we don't know. We have no. It's Chris. Yeah, because Chris is I don't know which one he is, but he is a leader of one of the BSAA.
You have to assume that's what the message from Captain Redfield was. You have to come join my Resident Evil initiative. We have to go rogue from the BSAA.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's what Resident Evil 10 is going to be about. It's going to be about gathering your favorites for.
Well, that's what they talk a little bit about that in Village when, you know, you're doing the whole thing when you're playing as Chris in Village, the BSAA shows up as like in there, and like I think it's the North American one, and they have POW people.
Right. So the no clip thing may be legitimate in terms of what they look like under their masks.
There's also at the end, and this one is very strange. I just keep seeing it pop up. Is I guess at the end of the game, like when Leon's walking away from Grace, he takes off his gloves and pulls a wedding ring out of his back pocket and puts it on.
Oh yeah.
And people are like, "What?
Cue the speculation. Is he continuing the Redfield bloodline, perchance?
That's what Chris wants.
What's his name? The developer, the main guy, has responded to a fan question asking who that is, with something to the effect of, "You would know who it is if you had paid attention to the story," or something. I mean, he wasn't that rude, but like basically saying like it's all there in the story, or not necessarily in Resident Evil 9, but if you knew where Leon come from, you would know who he married. And so like I think people are saying that
it gives us
Ada,
either Claire or Ada.
Yeah.
Or they're gonna just go insane and be like, "No, it was Helena from Say."
It was Helena. Yep. What was he gonna? Oh, I wanted to mention like a couple little things, right? Did you guys devote 3 hieroglyphic
injectors to Chubb
to kill Chunk as Grace?
Yep, that's how I killed him. I killed him.
Oh yeah, I did.
Injectors
actually.
to kill him and to kill the chef, because I knew they were like my biggest issues in that whole
area.
I killed Chunk with injectors, and Chef I used the
Chunk?
only
Just
Requiem bolt. He's the big guy that tries to eat you.
He's
he
the
comes
fat
from
guy who walks
upstairs
around.
in the care center.
Giant. I killed him as Leon, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you can do either. You can kill either of those 2 enemies as either character.
I didn't even think about that. That's cool.
I killed the chef with I mean, it only took 1 injector to kill the chef.
Yeah.
I used the only Requiem bullet in the entire game on Chef, and I killed him.
I did not know that you could kill him. I assume you got a headshot. I didn't know that you could kill him even with a headshot with Requiem.
Dude, I threw a Molotov at him first, and then I hit him with the Requiem bullet. I don't know what was needed. I was just like, I'm gonna kill you, and I threw a Molotov, and then I.
It's strange because when I started, and Leon gives you the Requiem, I immediately went downstairs and just put it in storage. I was like, I'm not gonna use it anytime.
Me too. No, I did that too. I think I brought it out just to kill him because I was like, you know what? Oh, you know what it was? I got wind that there was a key, and I was like, all right, I got to kill that guy. I'll use the Requiem, and that was the only time I used the Requiem the whole game.
But I really liked Chunk as like an obstacle. I mean, the chef is like 1.0 of that sort of obstacle, in that he changes his behavior after a certain point and starts patrolling that whole wing. And so you're like, oh, fuck, I got to get rid of this guy. And then Chunk in the East Wing is like 2.0 of that same behavior, where he's just roaming.
He's just the wall. He's just the moving wall of flesh that will just
literally fills the entire hallway.
Yeah, you can't pass him. Yeah, I think that's why I was like coming out of the lab, the little lab room, and he's like right there. I'm like, I can't get fucking past this guy. So I used the injectors on him.
Yeah.
Both those guys have really...
You can sneak around him, I think.
Oh yeah, you definitely can wait him out.
Yeah, but I'm saying when he's in the hallway, you can't go past him.
I probably
he
just
is in the
hallway.
Yeah. Both those guys have great death animations. That was another little detail of the game. Has sick death animations, a lot of unique ones throughout the whole game.
For you, killing you,
for zombies and you ball.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, fucking all the ways that Grace can die. It's pretty sick. I've seen her. And Leon, but I don't know. I saw the girl eat Grace. I've seen Grace cut in half.
Yeah, dude. The most brutal ones are like the chainsaw ones against Leon, where they literally saw him in half, and he's like,
"Oh yeah,
still alive." Or like chainsaw is going through a zombie into Leon, and the zombie's like collapsing on top of him. It's fucking crazy. I mean, I like attention to detail like that. You know, it's cool. It makes even dying in the game is fun.
There's the one where Mr. X impales him on the helicopter tail and then just grabs him and rips him in half. I'm like,
what?
Oh my lordy!
I didn't know.
Yeah, so you know that part where Mr. X like he shoved the helicopter tail.
Oh
in
no,
and
yeah,
started
that happened to
chasing you
me.
with it.
Yeah, I got hit by that.
If you hang out there and he like stabs you with it, and then he just grabs you and pulls you in half, like rips you in half.
When he stabbed me with it at first, I was like, thought it was going to be an attack. I was like, okay, I might survive this. Then I'm not surviving this at all.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time on little stuff like that. The environments were gorgeous. I mean, I spent a lot of the game, especially as Grace, because you're in that first person view, just like looking at very close up, different objects on the map, and like even in that little area of before the Renwood Hotel when the game starts, you're just like on the street. Yeah. I was just like walking around looking at all the signage and stuff. I mean, it's all detailed. It's not like it's not like filler shit. Like they really did design all of them, all the signs in the game and the care center. They definitely, these are the most detailed environments in a Resident Evil game, I think.
Yes.
At least leaving out like the Leon Raccoon City section. I think that's on the lower end, actually.
It's all destroyed, Vito. It's all ruined.
The graphics and the lighting are amazing. And it's funny, I just went... Performance was great. And I'm playing it in 4K, full screen.
Yeah, on my OLED monitor, in the sections that are dark, they're dark.
It's
like the
dark.
Flashlight beam is the only part of the screen I can see. So it's like genuinely upsetting how oppressive the darkness is in like the basement section, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Just insane. It's like,
I couldn't find.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta find the sun.
Yeah. In the beginning of the game, before when it's setting you up, there's the brightness, but I could swear there also was aside from the brightness, there was a secondary menu that pops up, and it's like, how dark do you want the game? This is a preference.
Well, it does. So because I saw it goes minimum dark brightness, maximum brightness, and then you set your brightness level with that. It's very strange.
Doesn't the screen say like, all right, okay, so you set your brightness minimum, your maximum, and then it's like, all right.
And then
it shows you a picture of the game, and it's like, how dark do you want your game? Because I feel like I couldn't find that setting in the future in the menus, but it was just like in that beginning section, and I put it to the darkest. I was like, you know what? I want this to be really atmospheric.
Spider-Man, turn up the dark.
I made the game crazy dark. Yeah, I Spider-Man turned off the dark, or I turned on the dark. Yeah, the game's beautiful, and then so after I beat this, one of my complaints, I guess, about the game is it's on release it has no mercenaries, no other modes that the other games usually have. But I don't know, I think Greg and Andy were saying that they also came out late for like Resident Evil 8. But yeah, it sucks. I wish that those modes were there on release, because I really did want more when I finished the game. Like I wanted to play. I felt like I really wanted to be like unleashed as like Leon on like a fully level Leon, like fucking zombies up. I feel like I never really got that opportunity. There's no new game plus, like a true new game plus.
I was hotly anticipating the new game plus, like there is in every other Resident Evil game, especially the modern ones. No proper new game plus. Just start a new game. You do get some allowances.
The only thing they do is you keep your Mr. Raccoons, but for some reason, and I'm playing through it right now, and there's a map you get that shows you where the raccoon statues are.
Yeah.
But in some newer playthroughs, it doesn't show them on the map, or at least it's not for me at the moment.
Maybe
but
you got
also
those ones already?
When you go,
I was wondering about that.
But also when you go to like the basement to pick up the map, it's not there anymore. Just not in the safe.
Oh.
So.
Maybe
it's just
we both got all the Mr. Raccoons like in the care center, and
in that
all the
area
rest of them that I missed are like in Raccoon City with Leon or something like that. It's more spread out.
I do know. I was looking. I was missing one file from the care center, and maybe it's every raccoon I'm missing, but every file that I'm missing is in Raccoon City.
But yeah, this game has no. The most you could do is you can replay the game, or you can replay the game on Insanity, and then the things that you just mentioned, Greg, and then also as Leon, you get your like supply boxes right away, so you could start up.
Yeah, but also,
you start from
you get your
scratch.
Supply box early, and when you beat the game, and you do all these challenges, you get those points. that you were talking about earlier, and use those
Right.
points to unlock like different
Bonus
weapons and stuff,
content. Yeah.
or like infinite ammo and all that.
But then you gotta buy the shit.
Excuse me. Yeah. Once you go in, you gotta buy the fucking item. So it's like,
Yeah.
all right, what the fuck?
And you're not going to buy it
You
at the
don't get
beginning of the
that power
game because you
fantasy.
don't have 25,000, credits or whatever for the one gun.
1,000
at the beginning
Mingus
of the game.
coins. Yeah. So I'm
Mingus
like,
coins, yeah. Yeah, so it just felt that sucked because I was like, man, I really want to play more. Like I like the game, and I felt like it threw a lot at me, but didn't stay in one place for too long. So like I really just wanted to like play more, soak it in, and you can't really. I started an insanity mode playthrough. It's not for me. It's just not fun. It's just way too fucking hard. I mean, I died more times in the fucking opening section as Leon than I died in the whole fucking game. I mean, I think that's like not even far from the truth. The zombies are just full on bullet sponges. That's not fun. I mean, I know like I guess you're supposed to do that with the bonus content, like infinite ammo and all those things, but I don't want that. I just want like a level of difficulty that's a little bit harder than the standard game, because the standard game, and I think we all played it on standard, modern, classic, or no, sorry, standard, classic.
I actually played it on standard modern.
I played
even though
standard. Yeah, same.
I always
Standard,
play
Classic, and Insanity now.
I always play a game for the first time on the whatever the default difficulty is, and then the next time, if I like the game enough, I play it. So right now, my replay is on classic.
That's fine.
Based
To
on
be
the
fair,
level of
though, it
difficulty
does
I'm finding
say the default. Okay, yeah, it's maybe that's like when that's the default, as in it's the cursor starts on there, but it does say
Yes.
for Resident Evil fans who have played the other games, like we
No, I
recommend
know.
this setting. So that's
Yeah,
why I picked classic, and it's baby easy. I mean, it's really fucking easy.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that like based on my replay so far? As I said, I've gotten past the care center. It's not appreciably that different. It's very close from modern to classic. So I think I would have had the same kind of experience you guys had. And it is funny. I get that it's funny that I wouldn't have, like, that me and Greg wouldn't have played on classic when we're Resident Evil heads.
Yeah,
It's just
it is.
It's just the way I do it.
The description doesn't even. It only notes that, like, okay, this difficulty is for classic Resident Evil fans, but I think it specifically just notes like not having unlimited ribbon saves. Is that really? That's like the only difference it really notes. But I think somebody said that like no, there actually is like a difference in
classic
difficulty
is
of
this
enemies.
game's hardcore.
Yeah, that's crazy.
As
They
surprising-
really
as
need a
surprising as it
difficulty.
is.
They need a difficulty that's harder than that, but less than insanity. I feel
Well,
like
the
there's
way-
just some middle ground that's missing.
The way it works is that the adaptive difficulty like rates, I don't know, enemy damage and stuff. Basically, there are 7 levels I think that your game can be at. On standard, classic, or on standard, the range is like 1 to 4, and on standard classic, the range is like 3 to 7. But again, the game tells you the only difference is the ink ribbon thing, which is bizarre.
Right, which is bizarre. And yeah, that was just one disappointment of the game where like I felt like it just wasn't that hard. Even sections that felt like they should be really I loved the lab. I loved seeing the liquors. Liquor section was cool, but also you learn almost instantly that the liquors are so easy to stealth around. Like, I mean, you could be within a fucking centimeter of them. They do not care. They might as well just be, all the fear is taken out of you once you realize how easy they are to deal with. And if you want to kill them, you kill them really easily too. What, you could either throw one bottle at them that kills them instantly, or as Leon, it's like a couple shotgun blasts to the head. So I would have appreciated a difficulty that's a little bit harder, but not insanity, which is just not fun at all, in my opinion. It's just a waste of time. But yeah, it's funny. So I wanted more Resident Evil. I went back and I played Resident Evil 4. I started up Ada Wong Separate Ways, which I never played.
Uh-huh.
And it's just funny. That game in my mind is like still really fresh, but it looks like markedly worse than Requiem, like graphics wise.
Okay, so you're talking about remake, separate ways.
Yeah, remake.
Yeah, okay. Because if you were talking about the original, I'd be like, you think?
Well, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, I would. It is curious. When did that come out?
2023.
3? Okay.
3 years ago this month.
Okay. It's funny. I was thinking about this while playing. There are parts of this game that look amazing and like the best Resident Evil has ever been. And there are other parts of it that I was thinking, oh, it's kind of showing the age of the engine a little bit now. Like that we've now had this engine for over 5 years, like 6 or 7 years. I can't identify specific parts, but occasionally I'd be like, okay, it's a little bit, but maybe that's just like what my rig could handle. I guess that's possible, like the settings that it had to be at, to play smoothly. Something else I want to mention that I just remembered, so I don't want to forget it again. Not just sound, but like performances, right? So I mentioned, and we mentioned how Gideon is so fun as a villain. The first half of the game with him he's a fun villain to watch, fun villain to have antagonizing you, and that guy's performance is
awesome. Voice actor, so
yeah,
good.
very enjoyable. Grace for me was so funny because she's like exactly 50-50 for my enjoyment. Where the times that she is acting her heart out, she's like one of the best performances that Ari has ever had in terms of believability, in like her panic and screams and like terror and everything like that. And then the other half of the time, I get that she's supposed to be like a panicky, stuttering mess.
She's fucking annoying.
The stuttering... Because it's
annoying, especially
if a person was doing this in real life, I would not be annoyed at them. Because it's a character in a video game who cannot, for one moment, stop stuttering, even in the calmest situations. It does great. It does great. I gotta be honest.
It's grating, especially when it's like, even in the beginning of the game, when it's like she's doing that. Zombies hadn't even showed up yet, and it's just like the police officer that's guarding the hotel, and she can't even get the words out to explain that she's an FBI agent.
But Vito, it's the PTSD. It's the Redwood Hotel PTSD.
Like you said, yeah. If there's somebody in real life, like, yeah, I that's different entirely. But this is like, first off, I'm supposed to believe that this person is a competent FBI agent,
right?
Yet this person got sent into this like super dangerous case. And everything makes him have a meltdown. So yeah, I definitely started off more annoyed than anything. But yeah, as the game led on, I was like, okay, this character has a personality. I enjoy that. It's a more grounded personality than a typical Resident Evil character, and I enjoy that. And yeah, there are some highs where you could tell this is actually like a good actress, and she does a good job.
Yes,
like creating believable scenes, especially
it would have been lovely
where Emily, mutates out, whatever.
Oh yeah, and it would have been lovely, like Andy said, if she had been allowed to complete her arc and finally come into her own as an RE protagonist. Like,
why did Leon say use this to be safe? Or to take the Requiem, and he gave her the hugest gun he has, and it only had one bullet. What did he mean by that?
No, he would.
Just a little troll.
He would have done so much better for her if he gave her his tiny Glock that had
his alligator snapper. Yeah. Instead, he gave her this humongous revolver, literally one bullet, and said, "You know what to do."
What's funny is it also would have served him better, because if he had kept the Requiem, he turns to confront Gideon, and he does get a shot off on the guy. Of course, because it's like a 9mm or whatever, it doesn't do shit to him, and he gets choked out. If it was the Requiem, he might have had a chance at like blowing his fucking head off or something. But because he swapped the wrong gun. Whoops, I gave her the big gun.
It is silly, but I do like the concept of Grace starting out with having exactly one very strong bullet that she can use. You know, that was.
Oh,
fun
it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I said, I will save this to the end of the game.
Yeah.
I would use it.
Although you do in the care center at some point, you start finding more bullets,
and you craft them too. Yeah.
And you can craft them. Yeah. But yeah, I would say the performances really didn't let me down for the most part, except for that 50% of Grace's where I just did get annoyed by the stuttering. But like did you guys watch the behind the scenes video?
I watched some of the mocap stuff.
Yeah, I thought that was fun to see that.
Yeah,
and
it was cool.
I think like they've just gotten not that you know they're not just at the standard of modern AAA games, but it's fun to like think about where Resident Evil has come from in terms of performances and voice performances, and now we're here at like no, it's freaking legitimate, you know, acting, and it's up to par.
I think maybe Resident Evil 8 like convinced them that that's a part of their formula now. Like,
oh yeah, that's a good point.
We need to have a standout actor, actress that delivers, you know, an amazing performance because people identify with that. They connect with the game better. We show up at the awards, you know, in more than just like a gameplay category. You know, it's good to have these like personalities tied to the game, and I feel like that was their takeaway. And then in this game, you had at least 2 pretty standout voice actors.
Yeah, and Leon is a guy that we like know from other stuff, I'm pretty sure. But this is, I think, his first time being Leon. I don't remember. Probably would have been a good thing to know.
Was he for his remakes?
Oh, maybe he's the same guy who's been doing the remake Leon. I'm not sure.
I think he's...
If that is the case, then literally what I said was meaningless. So disregard, because he's just like the Leon actor for years now. I do lament still with all of the modern Resident Evil games that the soundtracks aren't really memorable like the old ones used to be. Like, you know,
funny thing about you saying that, I got the deluxe edition of the game and I switched the music and sound effects to the classic one.
I did that for my replay, and I've had it on my replay so far. It's so I think I had the same exact experience with like RE2 remake and stuff like that. It's so funny going back into the save rooms with the old music on, and it's like coming home. It's like real tracks of music that mean something in your brain, that like trigger some feeling, some emotion, instead of just like I can't even think of a single soundtrack moment from the actual modern soundtrack. But when I come into the save room and it's playing the RE2 save theme, it's like, it's actually makes me feel something.
Yeah, I don't think I felt anything entering those save rooms.
No, it's just, you know, modern soundtracks for these types of games, they don't they seem not to really have a lot of regard for that, really not put a lot of attention on that, which is unfortunate because I think music can be, and was in the old games, such a big part of the emotional resonance of being in those locations, you know. I mean, like the opening for Resident Evil Outbreak, to tie it back to Alyssa, is my favorite opening of any Resident Evil game, and it's a lot to do with that score, which is like cinematic tier, amazing orchestration, and it's so sweeping, and like it's just amazing the impact it has. And I can't think of a single moment from the actual soundtrack of Resident Evil Requiem, nor like any of the preceding several games, and it's just really unfortunate to me because music is important. But that's my
music is important.
Well, we've been going on for quite some time. I think I've covered all my major points myself. I'd overall say that with ranking 7, 8, and 9, if one had to. Still enjoyed it more than 7. That's an easy clear for me. Putting it against 8 is weird because 8 was, I think, ultimately not nearly as interesting in a lot of ways as like the Gray segment in particular was. Like 8 was a lot more of a, it was a. I mean, it was a great game, but you know what? No. You know what? I'm just going to commit to that. I think 8 was a great game. I really enjoyed 8. I think I'm going to put it higher than 9. I think I'm deciding that right now. Like, I enjoyed the heights of 9. I thought that genuinely some of the bits of 9 had me believing that it could be the best modern Resident Evil game. But it's so messy that it's impossible for me to fully understand how I feel about this game in a lot of ways. It's so up and down. It's a roller coaster. And that roller coaster was consistently immersion breaking, and put me into a mind space often where I was not able to get as immersed and enjoy the cool atmosphere and monster designs and all that great stuff that we talked about that is there. All that being said, consistently fun. I would recommend it to a Resident Evil super fan. I would not recommend it to somebody who does not already enjoy Resident Evil. That's kind of my take on Requiem.
Yeah, I mean, literally the first thing I said in this episode was, I don't know what to make of this game. And I think all of our conversation has only served to prove that point of like, but I enjoyed it, but it was so messy and so like misjudged in several areas, and there was immersion breaking all over the place and logic breaks, and yet so much of it was like classic Resident Evil or new takes on new spins, and it was so interesting and fun. It's a really hard game to gauge, and I think it's going to have to stew in the memory banks for a while before I can even say definitively, like, do I like it better than Resident Evil 7 or 8? Right now I don't think so. I think 7 and 8, the Winter Saga, kind of both, I enjoyed the first impressions of those games more than this one. But it's going to take some time to figure out, do I like the highs of this one enough to top the highs of those? I'm not sure. What about you guys?
I don't know why. I can't really explain it. I just thought that the highs of this game took me higher than maybe 7 and 8, but I also don't have the perspective of playing those games very recently. I really enjoyed it. I totally understand that it's flawed. And who knows if I played it again, would it really hold up the same way? It might just be like good for, the first experience for me, and that's kind of it. I had a good first impression though. I liked it.
I liked it better than 7 and 8. Were definitely, there were some parts that we, talked about that weren't really that great. But overall, I liked it a lot.
That makes me really happy, actually, because you're my Resident Evil friend, Greg, and like the thought that a Resident Evil game with such hype going into it would disappoint you, it would just make me sad. Like, regardless of my thoughts on it, my thoughts are whatever. But the idea that you would be like, oh, I didn't like it that much, is just, that would be like heartbreaking to me. So I'm actually very glad that you liked it as much as that.
Yeah, there were definitely.
You're also my Resident Evil friend, but like in a different phrasing.
See, I feel like
an emphasis on
I like the game. Well, I like Resident Evil more for like the background, like lore stuff, like reading the files, seeing all that weird shit that's going on, and that I'm easily amused. So then being like, oh yeah, how about this fight with Hunk, dude? You like that? And something
I buy
like,
it.
Oh, it's like a reference to like the crowd, yeah. And it's just easy. I'm like, damn, that's so fucking bad.
I'm the same way. I'm easily amused. I'm just like, fuck, that's cool, dude. Like, fuck yeah.
You can actually parry rockets in the game.
You can literally parry everything in that game. You can parry the last boss, the giant nemesis creature that tries to crush you with his hands.
Oh yeah,
you can parry those. You can parry that.
I was exclusively parrying the hands. It was amazing. It was insane. But it was amazing.
There is some really crazy stuff you can do with that, like with Leon when you parry somebody. Any like certain weapons you have, if you're close to them, you can like if you have the pistol, you like put it under their head and you shoot them, execute them.
Whoa,
if you do
wait.
a perfect one, you like spin around and you shoot them in the back of the head.
Can you parry the zombies that shoot you or the guys that shoot you?
I don't know about that. That seems maybe. I don't know. I do know that I found this out earlier, before we played. I parried a guy and I went to shoot him with a shotgun, and Leon pushed him against the wall, stuck the shotgun in his mouth, and blew his head off. It was crazy.
Ouch.
I did not know he could do that. So I'm wondering if all the weapons have close range execution things.
Could be.
It's cool because Leon, because he's he's super secret agent, so he's doing all these crazy tactical moves and shit. He's doing them all in the game. He's constantly changing up his pose, changing how he's holding his gun when he's shooting. I
love that he tucks it in at close range.
But yeah, he tucks it in. He's able he turns the gun slightly to hit over barriers and stuff. I was oh, that shit's mad cool.
Yeah. The details.
Yeah, the detail, the reload animations and shit.
Yeah.
Yup.
How he puts the shotgun on his back,
on his
reload
shoulder.
He lifts it up and flips it upside down.
I was specifically thinking of that too. Cool. I was using the tac shotgun. He props it on his shoulder and then loads it, which maybe is how you do it in real life. I don't know, but I just haven't really seen that done in a video game. I thought that was badass.
They call him Leon T. Kennedy. Tactical is his middle name. I don't think that's his middle name. I think it's S.
Middle name's Scott.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, any other thoughts on Resident Evil 9 to share before we come to a conclusion?
Well, I think just
play it. Recommend it.
Play the game. Good game.
And I think, like you were saying, Andy, it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here in the Resident Evil franchise, what lesson they take away from this, considering it was clearly a cobbled together product that nonetheless was critically acclaimed and has been very successful for them. And especially following up on the Winter Saga and trying to be a new thing. What are they going to do next?
This was they made 2 games, but the games both pretty short. So they basically made that middle part to put them both together.
I'm thinking Resident Evil 10 is going to be a hard turn towards fan service. All the shit that people have been saying they want to see more of. We're going to see Jill. We're going to see everybody.
Yeah,
I really think
I was
Resident
almost
Evil 10 is set up to be. It could even potentially be critically ruinous for the franchise, but I think it's going to be Resident Evil 6 again. That's kind of what it feels like where we're going.
I could see that. And I was going to say earlier in the discussion about maybe characters returning or what I forget what the impetus was for this, but that Resident Evil 10, I almost called it Fast 10. That's so fucked up. That Resident Evil 10 could be the Avengers assemble of the franchise where they bring everyone back. Dude. They bring the team, the squad. That's what we were talking about. We were talking about get everyone, get the team together. Chris is collecting
Chris, Ada, Claire, Jill.
Yeah. Get everyone and they're all in on the action, and it's an action survival game.
And it's gonna be about taking down the BSAA. Or the evil inside.
And maybe even the fucking US government if we're feeling frisky. Yeah. I would not be shocked if that was the form that Resident Evil 10 took. And it will be called
apparently have, I think, two or three Resident Evil games before they make 10. You got
what do you think? The remakes.
And then they're apparently now they're going to remake Resident Evil 1, which I don't think is going to be a good idea.
They've remade that game 4 or 5 times.
Well, they remade it, but also I think they're going to do, with how they're doing Resident Evil games now. I don't think they're going to have locked camera angles, tank controls, which make that Resident Evil game as tense as it is.
Yeah, 100%.
That brings up a point that I didn't bring up during our discussion, which is that this game makes Resident Evil 2 Remake the canon version of events because it has flashbacks to it. And prior to this game, we had not really definitively said that everything from the old games, the original games, were like non-canon, and all the remake stuff is the like the only new canon. And this game still isn't really saying that, but it's kind of implying that like the remake games are what's happening. The remake games are the events that have transpired canonically, historically, which is kind of lame because some of the best fucking stuff, the most iconic stuff from the franchise is in the original versions. So to have that, like, that's just not part of the story anymore. That's not part of the lore, the franchise's history. It's just not what we're continuing on with. It's the remake stuff only. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I hear you. At the same time, I think that I bet they would even disagree and say that like it's all canon, like just because they would say that because like I mean their attitude is.
I can see
stuff
them
like,
saying that appeasingly.
Like they you know, I think there was a question asked, which one is canon, Leon A, Claire B, or Claire B, Leon A, whatever, you know, which one of those two is canon?
Yeah.
And I think the guy said that they both exist alongside each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that there are like elements from each that are probably true, and that whatever the sequels decide to reflect on will be the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter until it does.
Right.
I wish we could get cool BOWs like, you know, like Girl and like the Tyrant. Instead we get like Lyme disease as a BOW.
Oh, in real life?
Yeah.
In real life, we just have Lyme disease.
I don't want to belabor any points. I think we're winding down. This was an interesting experiment for me, buying a Resident Evil game on day one. I have not done that maybe ever in my life.
Okay.
And you know, I enjoyed the experience of playing one of these games without a bitch in my ear telling me what the good parts of the game were and what the bad parts of the game were and what to expect coming up, and like, oh, you're gonna hate this ship segment, you stupid motherfucker. Well, you're actually an idiot. You didn't like that part in Resident Evil 7? Like having the fucking gnats in your ear telling you, yeah, the House Benevito of Village is gonna suck, Andy. No, that part was great. Fuck you.
Why are people even like spoiling you on stuff? Or not even if they weren't spoiling you.
I'm half joking because like I voluntarily like streamed my entire playthrough of both of those games. Right, I enjoyed the discussions throughout. Yeah, I'm memeing, but it was
never,
different.
Like, poison someone against.
Oh, I know,
or whatever.
But it was it really wasn't Wayne. Like I said, we were all in conversation. You know.
Okay.
Well, probably the lamest bit was when Vito told me, "Oh, my favorite boss fight is this thing," and I was like, "I'm playing this game right now." And he was like, "Oh, I thought you didn't care about that stuff." It's like, I'm playing this game right now. All I was gonna say is it was fun to organically experience one of these games because I haven't had that experience in a while. I'm not sure I'm gonna repeat it on the next side just because I don't know, it's so messy. I don't want to spend another $70 supporting something like this. Frankly.
Unfortunately, me and Greg, and I am speaking for Greg, are locked in forever until we die.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So,
or until they make really shitty one.
No, Greg, I'm afraid, locked in, handcuffed to the franchise, my friend.
Where is Outbreak? Make me an Outbreak game.
God, imagine we're all wrong. Resident Evil 10 is just Resident Evil 10 Outbreak. That'll be...
I saw some crazy posts on Twitter, and it got me full of insane hopium for no reason. Where it was like, "Oh, hey, you know, I really like this AI of like of the zombies, like the stalking and the weird patterns they do of hunting you. It's almost like they're dinosaurs. Almost like they're gonna do a." Dinosaur, and I got immediately. I was like, "Oh shit, dude, they're right."
Are they right? Is that
what
how
you're saying? Is
works?
that Requiem was?
I don't think
dinosaurs.
so. I don't remember that. I just saw that. And I was like, "Wait, maybe they do that." But yeah, give me Outbreak and Dino Crisis.
Maybe
like I say every podcast.
maybe 10 will be bringing the gang back together. The team will be assembled to fight a Dino Crisis.
You're saying a portal opens up and Dylan and Regina pop out and they say, come with us.
Go all the way with it. I might like that game more than Resident Evil 9. I don't want to say like I hated 9. Like I said, I thought it was a thoroughly interesting and fun game. But yeah.
We're taking this fight to the future to save the past.
All right, everybody. Any last thoughts?
Just looking forward to talking about Resident Evil again next week, the week after that.
Oh yeah.
Oh
so
wait.
Next week, go ahead.
I'll speak for John. Resident Evil Requiem, more like Drequiem.
Bro, come on. I
Game's
thought we
not
were
really
really
for
free.
John anyway.
More like Requiem.
Yeah, join us next week when we're going to start a series. We're starting from Resident Evil 1. We're going to read out loud every file that you find in every Resident Evil game in order. We're going to take turns and discuss the lore as we go. I imagine that'll last us another.
Here's a quick recap of most of them. Hey, we created this creature. It's really bad. We probably shouldn't have made it, but we're just gonna kind of fuck with it for a little bit. Then I turn the page. The creature escapes. We're all doomed.
Itchy tasty.
The rest of the page is covered in blood.
Yeah.
There's a file in Requiem where one of the doctors is talking about how he's like, it's in the flashback. He's like, oh, I'm working in this area with these kids and we're doing like fucked up experience to them. This shit's pretty badass. I'm kind of digging this. And he's cool. He's like, I feel like this was my calling.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, dude?
What's wrong with you?